Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
TheChairshot.com. Always use your head.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Warning. The Outsider's Edge contains strong opinions, unconventional views, and contrarian stances. Listen, if you dare.
Hey, yo!
Guerrilla tactics, it's time for warfare. Yo, we came to battle, yo, we aim to kill.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Outsider's Edge. It's your boy Rance, aka Ray Cash. I am here. We had Karl for a week, and then Karl ate some government-sanctioned food, apparently, that got him with the shits. So it is just back to the normal, me and my boy Kyle. What's happening, man?
I mean, you know, to be fair, if our listeners were expecting Karl to become an every week guest host again, they've been smoking some real high quality shit that they need to hook me up with.
Dog, Karl on the podcast is like your birthday.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. It's great when it happens, but you don't expect it to happen all the time.
Nope.
Everybody's not that nice to you on your birthday every other day, but on your birthday, super nice to you. So yeah, I'm as I say this, I know Karl actually plans on being on the next few ones, so it's funny. This is his time. And not only is this his time, but this is the time for most people who don't watch during the year to start paying attention again.
Because we are finally, officially, unequivocally on that road to WrestleMania, y'all. And while the members of the Outsider's Edge might be some poor motherfuckers who can't afford to go to New York City, we know that a lot of y'all will be out there, and we wish you safe travels on that journey.
Yes.
But first, we got a crazy fucking week of wrestling coming up for him.
Yes. Phoenix, Arizona, which is, I like to call my second home. It's home to the Rumble and Takeover, man. Big shows. This is a big Rumble, not just because of the car, but literally it's called Chase Field, but I always will call it the Banquet Ballpark, the Bob. Beautiful stadium. It's going to be crazy to see that in a baseball stadium. Like, I haven't even, wrapped my mind around that yet. That's WrestleMania-esque.
I just hope that they learned their lesson from a couple years ago when they did it in the football stadium and they don't have the ramp be, 6 miles long.
Oh, no, just because you said that it'll be 9.
I know, you're right. I went and fucked us all over.
You did. It's okay.
Because that was the crazy thing that year. By the time these motherfuckers got down from the ramp, it was time for the next person to come.
That was the one I was at. That was in the Alamo Dome. I was there. Yeah, and the big guys... I couldn't
remember what arena they had done it in.
The big guys had to actually take the cart.
Mm-hmm.
It was hilarious.
Well, then you remember old man Johnny Boots and Tights came and, thought he was going to give it the full sprint and showed what a fucking old man he is now. Talking about, no, let me do the walk jog.
I'm going to run halfway and then I give you the other walk. The other half.
Yeah, I'm a walk jog.
Yeah. Before we kind of talk about the shows, there's a couple of things we wanted to touch on. I guess we can go non-WWE first, seeing as it's the biggest, well, actually, the Rousey stuff is the biggest moment of the day. But I find it interesting that for those of you who aren't in America, we are in the midst of a government shutdown. The government is shut down.
Over some bullshit.
For political reasons. This isn't, the NPR edition of the Outsiders Edge, so we won't get into the reasons why or whatnot. But
just know that our government's on some bullshit right now, and so they shut down because nobody wants to talk to each other anymore.
yeah, I didn't get my way, so I'm taking my ball and going home.
Yeah. So
now the funny thing and how this relates to wrestling is, you didn't think that this would affect everything like it did. I mean, the FDA isn't checking certain things, and TSA have been working for weeks without getting paid.
Shoot, motherfuckers are walking off the job.
Yes.
As they should.
Ain't nobody checking shit. Yes.
Because I'll be a son of a bitch if I'm teaching a soul for free.
You get a day out of me just because, you know.
Yep, because I do what I do because I like what I do.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, my landlord don't want to get paid eventually. He wants that check by the 5th of the month.
Yeah, he's not going to take that check on GP. Like, he needs something. But New Japan Pro Wrestling has 3 shows in Texas. Actually, Friday night they're in Houston. I'm not going. And I'm glad I'm not going now because
the only man you wanted to see ain't going to be there.
In fact, no Japanese people are going to be there whatsoever because their visas didn't get through because of the government shutdown. Now,
another thing you need to know for our non-American listeners, another thing you need to know about our wonderful country that we live in and we do love, even though we hate it, we love it also.
Sure.
Immigrating to America for any reason is a bitch.
Absolutely.
Getting a visa is a weeks to months long process and can only be done while you are in your home country, and there are all kinds of background checks and extensive shit going on. And so what apparently happened, according to the reports, is that New Japan put in for the work visas in early December. Which would have normally, under regular circumstances, based on their previous trips to the U.S., would have been plenty of time for their people to get work visas approved for the small number of dates they'd have been in country. But as part of the government shutdown, Homeland Security and several other agencies that are involved in the visa process are shut the fuck down. Ain't nobody working. So all of them visa applications are frozen. So all the Japanese talent, which is most of the good talent right now, aren't going to be there.
And I'm not even going to say it's most of the good talent. It's most of the talent that was advertised and the purpose of having the New Japan show. This was supposed to be the New Japan New Beginning tour, sponsored by Ring of Honor, if you will. And this was supposed to be the beginning, not the beginning, but the furthering of their westward expansion. Fail. It's a fail in every way possible.
I'm sorry, no LIJ and no chaos means it's not a New Japan show, and I call shenanigans.
It is crazy. Like, it's no Suzuki-gun, no nothing. And if you want to talk about it from an end storyline perspective, the whole purpose of what happened in New Year's Dash was building up the continued war between Suzuki-gun and LIJ. None of them was there. You main evented with Juice and David Finlay against It's Juice Finlay against the new Roppongi Vice back together for a night or something like that?
Could be GOD. Remember, they're all, with the exception of our boy Fale, the Tongans are all American citizens.
Good point.
In fact, our boy Tama is a United States military veteran.
Yes, and we thank him for his service.
And we defer to him because he is Tongan and he is right.
He is right. We are wrong. We are nothing but what the Tongans allow us to be.
Yes. So they'll be there, and that's great. But even they alone cannot rescue the colossal fuck up that this is.
Here's the interesting thing. Bandito there. Rush is there. What happened with those guys?
Well, and I mean, it sounds like some of the other talents going to be there that are not. All it said is all their Japanese talent.
Yep.
Wasn't going to be there. They didn't say nothing about Switchblade. For all we know, Switchblade could show up with his New Zealand ass. So what's going on with the Japanese talent specifically that they can't get that shit together?
So this is a failure of epic proportions for numerous reasons. But you know, when you criticize the Darling, people say, "Well, don't do that. You can't criticize them. They tried." That's the
No,
whole
y'all,
reason.
this is on the company. Like, this is
Yeah,
not on the talent. This has nothing to do with the talent.
right. But I'm saying, like, you know
This is
how
on the company.
WWE, anything WWE does is fair game to criticize. But if New Japan does one thing wrong, you can't criticize them. You
Oh
know,
no, we gonna call this shit out. We gonna
absolutely,
throw the shade here on the edge.
absolutely. If you know you have these shows coming, better yet, forget these shows. G1 is in 2 more months.
Well, shit,
Not
in
G1.
February.
Not G1. You know what I'm talking about? Supercard.
Well, yeah, that's coming up. They've got shows that they had advertised in North Carolina coming up. Like,
Oh, that's right. You're supposed to go to those or try to go.
oh, I was gonna try to go. I think it was sold out. But yeah, they had that show coming up in North Carolina of all places that they were gonna do. Like, you got all these American shows lined up. Like, you should have had this shit.
So you're ran by $1 billion corporation or $1 billion corporation, whatever you want to call it, and you just wait till the last possible minute to put these pieces in. Like, that's not smart business. Someone put a tweet online. I can't remember. I really can't remember who it was. That said that if you want to see quality Japanese wrestling this weekend, check out the WWE Network for only $9.99. Hideo's wrestling. Tozawa, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai are on the pre-show of Takeover. Shinsuke's defending the title. Like, there you go. Asuka's won the main
Shinsuke's
event.
challenging for the title, and Asuka's defending the title.
Who cares about the U.S. title? Who cares right now, right?
I mean, nobody, but that's not the point.
Okay, sorry. So there you go. Quality Japanese wrestling. Check out the WWE Network. Yeah, they deserve all this criticism. And things happen. Like, you get the benefit of the doubt. Things happen. But that's a very, very epic mess up to make. So what would you do? Would you give refunds out? Or would you want a refund if you had a ticket to the show?
I mean, if I had a ticket to the show, I'd be really, really pissed.
And they're doing San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas with the three cities.
I'm of two minds on the situation. On the one hand, I can totally understand the knee-jerk thought of, oh, people should get refunds. I want a refund because these people that you've advertised for the show aren't going to be there. On the other hand, from a business standpoint, just legally, logistically, if I sold you tickets to a show, if I put on the show I said I was going to put on, even with a different cast, I fulfilled my contractual obligation to you. You bought those tickets knowing the 3 words that we all know.
4, but yeah.
4, card subject to change.
Yep.
And the card it be's a changing.
You're right. You are as much as this is on the promoter has the right to change the card at any time.
Mm-hmm. And as long as they still put on an actual wrestling card full of actual matches that last the actual length that they had originally anticipated,
yep,
they've done their part and they have not frauded you. Now, I can understand feeling cheated because, you know, I'll give a non-wrestling example. I'm a concert fan. I like to go to concerts for lots of different kinds of genres of music. Nothing sucks more than going to see your favorite artist or band and they don't play your favorite song.
Yeah.
Even if it's not their biggest hit, if that's your jam and they don't play your jam, you're gonna go home like, man, I really wanted to hear that song. And so, like, I get it.
You could be a Lauryn Hill fan and just never see her on stage ever. So.
No, you know what? I am a Lauryn Hill fan, and I wanted to go see her. She was going to be in Charlotte.
Don't ever do it.
It's not even that. I ain't got that kind of money. Shit. I ain't paying $75 to sit on the lawn only for Lauren to have an emotional breakdown and not make the show.
No, and you know the audacity of somebody to still charge that much when you haven't been relevant for 15 years?
Shoot.
Now
Yeah,
your
but
relevancy was the highest of all time. But
you say that, but like shit, all she got to do is play doo-wop, and I'd be done. I'd be like, yep, that was worth it.
I don't even think she played that no more.
If
She'll sing X
if she
Factor
didn't
and
play
Zion.
doo-wop and she didn't sing "Killing Me Softly" without Wyclef, I don't give a fuck if Wyclef's there. If she ain't play doo-wop and sing "Killing Me Softly," then she stole from my ass.
You better respect Miss Hill and her craft.
I mean, I respect that she look fierce as fuck. If I were straight, I'd beat.
My silence speaks volumes right now. Let's move on to the other big news of the moment. So, this is an Uncle Dave alert.
Man, fuck you, Uncle Dave. Fuck Uncle Dave and fuck all of his little stands that believe every damn thing that he publishes.
And Dave gonna get this work, but Ryan Satin gonna get this work too, because he jumped his happy ass in this too. But apparently in the Observer, one of the main things that Dave reported was that Ronda Rousey, yes, quote unquote, reported, quote unquote, is that Ronda Rousey will be leaving the WWE after WrestleMania. That now I don't know. I haven't read the Observer, but all I know is that has turned into Ronda's quitting WWE. Ronda never signed a full contract. WWE is stupid for have signed her just for a year. When now the facts have come out. The facts that have come. Go ahead, please, go ahead.
Let's dismiss that bullshit. That last little part of the bullshit that you just spewed. Let's dismiss that right the fuck now. Mm-hmm. Did Ronda Rousey sell tickets? Did Ronda Rousey push numbers?
Biggest draw in the company.
Did Ronda Rousey headline shows for a fucking year? And miss me with the but look at the ratings shit. Miss me with that. That's not what the fuck we talking about right now. Because if you look at the Ronda segments, even with the lower ratings, they still some of the highest rated segments on that motherfucking show. She getting all the goddamn YouTube views. Her and Becky is all of a sudden like the wet dream WrestleMania match. Like, fuck this. They're stupid for signing her in the first place if it's only a year. If I know that for 1 year I can get the hottest fucking act who's going to push them seats and sell that merch, I'm going to sign the shit out their ass for 1 year and ride that gravy train. I'm going to make money on their royalties for the next 15.
Yeah.
Miss me with that bullshit. They're stupid for signing her.
I couldn't
the
have
fuck
said
is
it no
wrong
better.
with you?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it no better. I don't have to get turned up tonight. You turned up for me. I don't have to turn up. That's perfect.
Like that, but like that's just so fucking short-sighted. Like you're pissed because you find out that she's leaving, so that means they never should have signed her in the first place.
Well, stop right there, my brother, because the conjecture is that she's leaving. She's not pregnant yet, so who knows if she actually leaves after WrestleMania? It's all conjecture.
Just because she even if she get pregnant, unless she actively choose to stop competing after giving birth, pregnancy don't mean you got to go.
That's yes. So
think about all
100%.
of the talents that have had kids.
Brie and Maurice.
Mickey got a kid.
Yeah.
Fucking Brie and Maurice.
But I say Brie and Maurice because they literally competed like literally 6, 7, 8 weeks after having the baby.
But and it's not just confined to WWE women's wrestlers. Madison Rayne got a couple of kids.
Oh my god! If you're talking about the indies or outside WWE, a whole bunch of women out there have kids.
Yeah, like women have children, y'all. It happens. Women athletes have children. It happens. I'll use the WNBA as an example. There are women who play professionally in the WNBA and play professionally overseas, and there are times in their careers where it'll say, so-and-so's not playing this season. Pregnant.
DNP pregnant.
Yeah, DNP, pregnancy. Mm-hmm. Women get pregnant, they have children.
Yep.
Sometimes they decide that they're going to stop competing, but a lot of times they're like, I had this baby, I'm going to get back in shape, and then I'm going to Serena Williams my ass to some more titles.
So much about it bothers me because we talk on this show all the time about the integrity of journalism and the integrity of reporting news. So first and foremost, if you're going to report it all the way. WWE has come out with their whatever you call it, their PR guy, saying that Ronda is signed until April 10th, 2021. Okay,
That's a contract.
That's a contract. So whether she retires or not or whatever it is, you know they're gonna hold it to a contract. Number two, Ronda has been very outspoken about two things. About one, wanting to have babies before she gets too old. Two, loving WWE as the best job she's ever had. She's been very vocal about both of those. Number three, this is the part that I take umbrage with. I understand. This is the Observer. This is the Bible of dirt sheets. I get that. But don't you think that this news item and becoming as big as it did kind of kills all creative between now and WrestleMania if she really, in fact, is leaving?
I mean, it kills the mystery. Ronda versus whomever. Ronda loses because she's leaving.
Why am I interested in Ronda Rousey now if this is true? And if it isn't true, if you don't know for sure, because I guess Dave is underneath their bed every night making sure that they're not using condoms.
I mean, yo, man, he's got to find a way to peddle that shit rag for more money than it costs you to get a network subscription.
Please say that again. The Observer costs more than the network. But people complaining about, I don't want to pay this network.
People are willing to pay $13 for Dave to give them shit he thinks might be true.
Yeah, opinions and ideas.
But don't want to pony up $10 for
every pay-per-view ever.
Or if WWE is really not your thing, shit, for $8 you can get, for $9 you can get New Japan, for $8 you can get Impact, for
$10 you can get Power Slam.
Well, for $10 you can get Ring of Honor too. Like shit, like all these other actual promotions that are going to give you actual content that you know is actually happening, or $13 for a rumor mag that's going to peddle speculation for clicks.
Yeah, man, it just pisses me off to no end. And seeing as, you know, we both kind of work in the business.
I hope she does have a kid and come back. Baddest woman on the planet can be turned into baddest mom on the planet real fucking quick. Do you know how many shirts you would sell if you're marketing baddest mom on the planet?
That'd be dope.
Shit.
I'd buy one just on GP.
I was going to say, people buy one for Mother's Day just cuz.
I'd buy one for me on GP, just have it in the closet. Yeah. No, but just because all this happened, you know what I want to happen so bad? Whatever happens at Mania, I wanted to retain. Just because. And throw everybody for a loop. That's what I want. Like, that's the type of stuff that if I booked, I would do is, y'all think y'all know what's happening, huh? I'm going to mess with y'all heavy. Because this is supposed to be the assumed or reported main event of the show. Why should we care anymore? Because you just gave away, and I understand, if you read any Observer, he's always giving away some type of news that may or may not be true, depending on the day.
And then when it's not true, well, plans change.
Plans changed. Right. And you got to give the man credit. He's had his moments where he's been right. We're equal opportunity.
Homie does well for himself.
Yeah.
Like, Homie does well for himself. He knows his market and he plays to it. But I have a hard time calling what he does journalism because too much of it is rooted in speculation and bullshit. Do you know what real journalists have to do? They have to be able to corroborate their stories. Yeah. The New York Times ain't printing shit unless 3 people can confirm it. And if so much as one piece of one part of an article comes back as false, they will print a retraction and an R bad with a list of all the ways they fucked up. Because they've got integrity.
But they're reporting on real news, not
facts.
Not a business that's built on secrecy and carnival ideologies.
I just wonder if his stands realize how much the companies use him to peddle their shit because they know that people are eating his shit up with a spoon.
Nope. Can I say nope one more time? Nope.
You can, but it must be lonely, or not lonely. It must be weird living in such a sad, short-sighted little world.
What it is it's being so desperate to know that you're willing to. It's no different than. I don't want to make this the NPR version of Outsider's Edge, but it's no different than the state of news now. You're so desperate to know things based on what you want to know that you're willing to hear stuff that isn't necessarily true because it sounds good.
Truthiness.
Truthiness. Gotta
Steve
love that word.
Colbert, man.
I love that word. Stephen Tyrone Colbert.
From Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston, South Carolina. That boy is a bruh. Don't let nobody tell you. Don't let nobody tell you else. He's a bruh. Yeah, so those are the main items of news. I'm sure we could talk some other stuff. Do you want, before we go into this, do you want to talk about the AJ Styles podcast he did? Do you want to talk about that?
AJ Styles did a podcast? What?
You didn't hear about this?
No, I didn't hear about this.
AJ Styles did this super conservative podcast show. And like
MAGA style?
I'm not gonna go that far, but sure, that one could be assumed. It could be assumed that that's the case. And like right before he got on, one of the commercials was for a shirt that said "Socialism is for fags."
Oh well, I mean, I do love socialism.
Well, I'm not gonna call you a fag, though.
Well, that's okay. I was just, playing into the stereotypes.
I appreciate you doing that. Sometimes you have to jump into the fold. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you just got to jump into it, waist deep.
Waist deep?
I mean, it's okay because the more that they've done the studies, the more loudly you doth protest, the more likely we are to find you online.
Well, AJ's very vocal and very, very, very known online. But the reason this is of note isn't just because of that, but because they asked him about the Gillette commercial.
Tell me AJ Styles in there standing for toxic masculinity because
he didn't understand why the commercial was there. He said something about I wasn't prepared to talk about this. I was just curious if he even knew about it. I think one of his responses was, "Well, I'm a man. I'm supposed to take care of my wife. So what are you trying to tell me to do?" Like he was dead ass confused about the purpose of the commercial.
And that's all the more reason why the commercial is necessary.
Yeah. So with in the hopes of not losing the 17 listeners we have.
Listen, if they listen to our show with you and I as the host,
that's a good point.
That's
a good point. They know what they get.
Yeah,
it's on the marquee.
Yeah,
it's advertised.
When the two most consistent members of the hosting trio are a black man and a gay man, they know what they getting. They know where we standing on this fence.
That's a good point. That's a very good. And the best part is Karl's worse than both of us.
Oh.
And he's the redneck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's get to some predicted
shows.
NXT Takeover.
The formula works.
The formula works. My God, the formula works. Stacked show like always. Probably dare I say the most stacked show they've had this wrestling calendar year.
I've decided to stop saying NXT shows are the most stacked they've had because every show it feels like is just more stacked than before. So like,
yeah, dog. But this one,
I'm more just like, how long can they ride? Like, how long can they ride the train?
As long as they keep getting the hottest talent coming in. Think about this: Kushida's coming, ACH is coming, like Jonah Rock is coming. Like it's not over. Like they're not done. Trevor Lee is coming. Rachel Ellering is coming. Like it's not over. Like they're not done.
Eventually, Tessa will come.
Tessa's not gonna be WWE for a long time, if ever. They only respect her because of who her dad is and her pedigree. But from what I've read and heard, the management does not like Tessa, and Tessa does not like the management.
You know what? I've heard a lot of people don't like Tessa.
I've heard the same thing.
I've heard she might be a little bit hard to work with.
I've heard the same thing. Now, if Low Key and Teddy Hart can be hired in 2019, then Tessa can have a job. But Tessa's quite fine over there with Don Callis. Stay there.
I mean, that company knows how to book its women and always has.
It's
the one thing that they've always done well.
I will give you that. And I guess half of the women wrestle for WoW.
A lot of them do, yeah.
Yeah. So works out both ways.
I mean, the only woman on that company that I just don't understand the appeal of is Allie. But, this isn't a show about that company. So let's talk about TakeOver.
Allie cool. She cute.
Yeah, but she's shit in the ring, and I don't understand why she's pushed so hard.
That's actually a conversation I'd like to have with you, maybe off air.
Yeah, let's talk about it later.
Yeah, because I'm a little higher on Allie than you are. Before we talk about the pay-per-view, I just want to mention that every takeover they record the next episode for the pre-show. Those two matches are Kairi Sane and Io Shirai versus Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, and the Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons. Those are takeover matches. So,
I mean, that women's match will be real good.
Well, the men's match will be good too, but
I mean, I'm high on the Street Profits. I'm high on the Street Profits. I'm not as high on the Forgotten Sons.
Wesley Blake is one of the better tag team wrestlers in the company.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Murphy didn't do it alone. As great as Murphy is,
Murphy's tremendous.
But he didn't do that alone.
Not by himself.
Nope.
So Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler are a good tag team. Their gimmick. I like the gimmick because it's different than anything that's going on right now in the company. But their gimmick is a bit divisive. Divisive.
No, you know what kills the stable for me? Gunner being in it. I don't care how they want to try to repackage him. I don't care how they want to try to present him.
The superstar.
I'm like, nah. Gunner is your main star in this stable.
Hey,
nah.
Gunner who was gonna be Impact World Champion at one point. You better put some respect on his name, bro.
Nah, Gunner who was an Aces and Eights lackey.
There was a lot of Aces and Eights lackeys, by the way,
including Luke Gallows.
He was the director of Chaos, hence where the knock came from.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, okay, let's get through this card first. We're gonna start from the bottom, work our way up. We laughed about how long it's gonna take us to predict this before we started recording, but Matt Riddle in a grudge match, which has been built up tremendously well.
Good story.
Great, yes, very good story. Matt Riddle versus the knockout artist Cassius Ohno.
Matt Riddle's going to win, but it'll take more than 6 seconds this time.
Astute observation. I would agree. And just one tangent. Shout out for them finally deciding to use Cassius Ohno correctly.
Yeah, no, this is the best they've used Cassius Ohno.
Since he's been back, yeah. I love it. I'm very happy. Matt Riddle wins, and Matt Riddle goes on to something bigger.
Yeah.
I think.
If Matt Riddle got to choose what Matt Riddle would be doing, Matt Riddle would be kicking Brock Lesnar's ass. But we know that's not his next stop.
Stranger things have happened, my brother.
I mean, he wants it so bad.
I would be bummed if he got it before Bobby Lashley, though. Because Bobby Lashley re-signed on that being one of the reasons he was coming back to the company. So, like...
Yeah, but I mean, Matt Riddle's not quite as damaged as Bobby Lashley is from a character standpoint. They've been rebuilding Bobby Lashley. I'm not saying that they haven't, but
sure, you're right.
There was a lot of damage done.
You're right. It's for the year he's been back, 6-7 months though, it's been like, yeah. He's in an okay place now, but he had to get there.
Yeah, but Riddle wins, no contest.
So next we have the tag team title match between everybody's favorite idiots, Roddy and Kyle, versus what my good friend Darren calls the Battle Plunderers, the War Raiders. I love that name.
Oh,
Shout out to Darren, by the way.
This one's really hard for me. Because part of me feels like go ahead and let War Machine take the belts and go ahead and send the Undisputed Era up the card. But another part of me is like, nah, Undisputed Era can keep just like causing random chaos on NXT for a while longer. And I love Roddy and Kyle as a tag team.
I don't know where they would go from here for either person. Because while there's a lot of tag teams in NXT that are good, none are at the level, I think, of fighting for the outside of these two right now. And you could do a lot of building in the next 2 or 3 months. So that's not necessarily a problem. But because there's that uncertainty, I'm gonna go with the champs retaining, because Undisputed Era always finds a way to retain, and I feel like they might get their title defense. They might like actually win the titles. War Raiders, I'm talking about Mania weekend.
I mean, could be. I mean, I just feel like it's going to be really hard for me to consistently refer to them as War Raiders. I called them War Machine for so long, so I'm going to fuck it up a lot. But I do feel
That's
like
fair.
Hanson and Rowe are one of the rare tag teams. They're kind of like a heavy machinery in the sense of like, I look at them and I'm just like, Vince is going to love them. Vince is going to love Hanson. A big guy that does moonsaults and shit. Vince is going to love that.
Yes, but he'll all love Heavy Machinery more because they're fun.
Yes. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it, but I'm just like,
But big dudes,
I'm just like,
he
these
loves
are
big dudes that
nimble
can move.
big dudes who are charismatic and have a cool gimmick. And I'm just like, Vince is going to love the shit out of this when he gets his hands on it.
That move that Rowe does when he has somebody in a power slam position and they put the power bomb on top of him and he slams them both is the craziest
See,
thing.
I mark for when Hanson does the cartwheels around the ring, and
Yeah.
like I just mark for
Yeah.
that. And I love their finisher. Love it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Fallout. Yes,
Mhm.
excellent. They're great, but Roddy and Kyle.
Well, yes, obviously.
And the Undisputed Era needs something to do, seeing as Adam Cole and Bobby Fish are a bit aimless as we speak.
I mean, shows you how stacked Takeover is, or NXT is, and how great the formula is that both Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream aren't on this card, and nobody's like crying about it.
And based on what happened this past NXT, they could be a match on Takeover tomorrow, and nobody would be upset.
Or they could be surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble.
Shh. Adam Cole's already been in one, so.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'd mark hard for a Velveteen Royal Rumble spot.
It would make sense with what he's doing on Twitter, so I'm down. I'm more Velveteen Dream in my life.
Always
is
a good thing.
life.
Always a good thing. Speaking of people who we want more of in our life, let's talk about the EST of NXT.
Look, man, my heart hurt so bad when the crowd started chanting "overrated" at her.
Fuck the crowd. How dare you?
I got back the same thought process I got when they started chanting Sasha's ratchet at Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, like I love the crowd because they're so engaging, and it worked. It got the desired effect, but there's nothing overrated about Bianca Belair. If you've watched everything she's done from the
She
very
might
beginning,
still be underrated.
And one thing she is
Defeated. Full neck roll.
I need the gum chewing. Shayna Baszler's a badass. Shayna Baszler might be the best champion in the company. Her and Pete Dunne, I think, are the two best champions.
And Shayna is already, even still in NXT, Shayna is one of the most complete women on the roster. One 100%. Of the, because she can talk, she has complete command of her character, and she can go.
With multiple styles.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple styles. She's gone out there with high flyers, with brawlers, with mat wrestlers. She's done it all. With strikers. She can go. Now, the one style of wrestler she hasn't fought yet in WWE or NXT is the power wrestler. And you know what Bianca's coming with. So I'm curious to see. I don't doubt she will, but it's something to be said for a person who didn't grow up in the sport. She's not a second generation wrestler. She didn't grow up a wrestling fan. This is something she attained to do. She just found it later in life and got really good at it and fell in love with it, which is fine. But this is the biggest moment she's ever had in the business. She's never had a takeover match before. First takeover match at the takeover of Royal Rumble right before WrestleMania for the title. Do you think she can actually pull it off and stay undefeated with the veteran who has cut everybody's legs from underneath them?
I'm going to say the same. I'm going to say some of the same thing that I said when we talked about Shayna before the last takeover. Shayna is getting to the point in NXT, kind of like with Asuka, where it's like, okay, when are you going to wind her down? She's reached an apex that, like, she's beat everybody that you've thrown in front of her. There really isn't a whole lot left for her to do. Yeah, you could run her and Kairi Sane back, I guess, or you could put her against Io Shirai, would maybe, but like Shayna's done it all that there is to do. Like, let her lose this title, let her come out in the Royal Rumble, and then decide which roster you're going to stick her ass on and start building her ass the fuck up.
I think Shayna's a guarantee for the Rumble, win or lose.
Or actually, no, she'll probably stay in NXT and get the rematch, and then she can lose her rematch, and then after WrestleMania, she can go full time.
Well, yeah, but they'll call you up and still have you finish up in NXT.
True.
They've done it all the time. Like, every wrestler gets called up. When they get called from NXT, they still finish up their.
I just don't know if they're going to call somebody other than the people who they've already announced as call-ups up during the build to Mania.
That's fair. Now, she doesn't have to be called up just to be in the Rumble.
No, I still expect to see her in the Rumble. That's not what I mean. I still expect to see her in the Rumble.
Yeah.
But I just mean, like, as far as her being full-time called up, I don't know if that's going to be until after Mania. But I'm going to pick Bianca. The only request I have for this match, and I don't know if we'll actually get to see it because of how established Shayna is, but Bianca's a powerhouse, and I love watching Bianca do a gorilla press slam. I want to see her. I want to see her press slam Shayna. I want to, because there's something more impressive about her doing it, because she is a powerhouse wrestler, but she's still petite. Like, yes. I expect Tamina and Nia and Awesome Kong and I expect those ladies to be power wrestlers because they're bigger women's wrestlers.
It's just all muscle.
Yeah, Bianca is teeny fucking tiny, but she is built like a tank.
Yeah.
And so something about seeing her do that power game is just great.
So I got Bianca, of course, too, for the same reasons you said, because there's nothing else for Shayna to do, as you said. But I'm worried. I don't know that these two. I'm scared they might not have the best chemistry.
I could see that.
I'm concerned. I am concerned about that.
I'm concerned just because I've not seen her put in a situation yet where she's had to. As great as Shayna is, can she carry the match?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Because she's going to have to run point just from an experience standpoint.
You're right.
She's the champion. She is. Yeah. We just said she's one of the most. She's the veteran. She's one of the most complete women on the card. She's the biggest name woman on that roster.
And she's been there. Yeah, before.
And she's been there before. So she's gonna have to run point, and she could, especially with it being Bianca's first takeover, she could be in a situation where she's got to carry some of the spot in this match.
And every woman that Shayna has had to wrestle so far has been an A++ wrestler. Ember,
who's equally as experienced as her, is the bigger part.
Absolutely.
Like, Dakota might not do a whole lot for me from a personality standpoint, but Homegirl is experienced and has been doing it forever. So everybody that Shayna's had to face so far has been a big-time veteran in terms of years and years and years honing the craft. Bianca ain't that. And I am not trying to sit here and say Bianca's not good, because we don't know how great Bianca could be. this match.
Yes.
Bianca could come out and like be one of those Jeff Hardy types where it's just like from a very early spot you were just like, oh shit, she got it.
Well, no, I'll give you a better example. We just talked about her before we started talking about this. Ronda Rousey took to this faster than anybody I think I've ever seen. Bianca's taken to it like that. But Ronda's first match was at WrestleMania in one of the main events. You know, Bianca's had 2 years to build up and have subtle but quiet classics with Deonna Purrazzo and Nikki Cross and Mercedes Martinez and all these other
And
women.
a fire-ass entrance theme, coming out swinging her hair with that like a fucking rope.
I'm telling you, and we got pseudo babyface Bianca. Does that mean she wrestles different now?
I hope not. Because
this is the most intriguing match of the card to me from an in-ring standpoint because you don't know what you're going to get. These next two, you know you're getting 5-star classics between them. This one could be 4.5 or it could be 2. You don't know. And the intrigue gets so interesting because you don't know what's going to come of this. But I'll say this. I did not think Bianca and Nikki Cross would have the chemistry they had. They had great chemistry. This might be similar.
True facts.
So before we get to the main event, we got to talk about the North American title match between Ricochet and Johnny Gargano. And I was listening to our brothers Ricky and Clive, and I never thought about it, but Ricochet really hasn't defended the title that much. I mean, Tyler Breeze got a title shot. I know Pete Dunne got a title shot, and of course he had the triple threat title shot with Pete and Adam Cole, and of course Adam Cole got the rematch right after he won it from him. But yeah, he really hasn't defended it that much.
Most of the time he spent as champion was the build up to War Games. And so he was part of this like team clusterfuck shit for like ever. I mean,
but in the same breath, Johnny Gargano, who is the heart and soul of that entire, he's taken the mantle from Sami Zayn and become the heart and soul of that place. Has never won a singles championship.
Not a one, and I don't know that he gets one on Saturday.
Uh-oh. Okay. Expound on that, sir.
Well, mostly because I feel like they'll know what they can do with Johnny whether he gets a title or not. If Ricochet loses the title and they're not going to put Ricochet on 205 or somewhere else, what the fuck are they going to do with Ricochet?
Ricochet is bred and is being set up for the main roster. Where? Don't know. But he's being set up for that. Ricochet might be in the Rumble. That's a good question, but let me tell you why I think Gargano's the way you go. Number one, he's never won a title before. They're gonna want to rectify that. Number two, and I don't know if you've caught up with NXT as much as I have recently, but this will he, won't he, I hate you, I love you, but I'm following you again kind of love affair between him and Ciampa, which is started to kind of manifest itself again. This past NXT episode of NXT, Ricochet came out to call out Gargano. Gargano came out and said, this isn't old Johnny Gargano where I come out here and I run out here and just fight like crazy. It's 2019. New Johnny Gargano, and he walks into the ring and then he just punches him in the face. They start fighting. As they're fighting, Ciampa comes out of nowhere and jumps Ricochet. Every time Ricochet gets down, Ciampa and Gargano lock eyes, and they keep helping each other indirectly. Aleister Black comes out and is beating the holy hell out of Ciampa while Gargano and Ricochet are on the ground. Johnny Gargano stops as Ricochet's down, looks in the ring at Ciampa, thinks about it, then jumps in the ring to help Ciampa by beating up Aleister Black. They both hit their finishers at the same time, a springboard DDT and they're the Angel's Wings to me because I'm a Daniels guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Angel's Wings. And then they both sit down and stare at each other. Ciampa rolls out of the ring holding Goldie. Gargano rolls out of the ring. They walk up the ramp together, like not together, but kind of together, and they're looking at each other. They stare at each other at the top of the ramp, and Ciampa extends his hand And Candice comes out and pushes Gargano away and says, "We're not doing this again. No, you can't do this." And Johnny's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, of course not." But then he's stupefied, looking at Ciampa. I think there is something to be said with those two possibly ending the night as the two singles champions of NXT. Think about it.
I mean, you know what's sad? My takeaway from the story you just told was, shit, I forgot Candice was on the roster.
You know, if this storyline wasn't one of the best WWE's ever produced, I would feel more bad for Candice, because Candice is quite possibly the most talented person in that building.
Candice is amazing. Amazing.
She is. And she's been fodder for this storyline. But this is one of the best storylines
The
we've ever
storyline
seen.
is great. Candice's only crime is that she's married to the biggest star on the brand. And that puts her forever in his shadow.
John, yeah, you're right. And she came in after him, after he established being the biggest star on the brand. That's what hurt her the most, is she came in after he was already established. Gargano really, really, really trying to take the new Shawn Michaels hat. Trying hard. Because he is Shawn Michaels' clone right now.
I mean,
and in everything he's doing.
Honestly, he's better looking than Shawn Michaels. I'm just saying.
Oh, never something I never worried about.
I know, but I'm just putting it out there. Like,
I hate the old white guy comb over. Like, when you part from like the side of your head, like I don't do nothing.
I mean, but I'm not talking about the hair. I'm talking about the whole pack. Like, that face is way more appealing than Shawn's ever was. And it doesn't have all the telltale signs of years of meth abuse.
Not meth.
Oh, that's right. He grew up during the crack epidemic.
Get it right. He's an 80s baby. You better respect my guy.
Yo, the main event, as great as it's going to be, we could honestly talk about it in just as quick a time as we talked about Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno, because Ciampa versus Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa, next, please.
You think Aleister Black has no chance?
I think
zero
chance, because I think Aleister's done with NXT. You know what I would do with Aleister right now? I'd give him that program that they were going to do with Lars, but Lars has panic attacks and can't do it anymore.
Well, you've already known what I've wanted for months.
I give Aleister that push, but that's just me.
You know what I've wanted for months. Mm-hmm. I want Aleister to get called up to SmackDown and face Bryan for the title.
Yeah, so either way, I think Aleister's done in NXT, and because I really do honestly think Aleister's done in NXT, I think he has no chance in this match. I think Ciampa wins to put a bow on the whole Aleister Black thing, and Aleister moseys on off to the main roster, and Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are still in NXT because it's the call-up that never happens, because they are the faces of a brand. And there's nothing wrong with that.
So you're right. I just wanted to play devil's advocate. And because we know we're pretty sure Ciampa's going to win, that's why I believe Gargano wins, because I feel like Gargano, after he wins the title, comes out later on to help Ciampa beat Aleister, and DIY reforms as the two-man power trip. Because Ciampa is a mini Triple H, and Gargano is a mini Shawn Michaels.
But wasn't the two-man power trip Triple H and Stone Cold?
Don't point out facts when I'm making points, okay? You can't do that.
Is Gargano or Ciampa going to be the one that sings to the other one? I'm going to have to say it's got to be Ciampa, because Ciampa talks to the belt like Austin talked to the watch.
Did you see Ciampa tweeted out that he should win every single NXT award, and for NXT female he said vote for Goldie? I love it, man. But Come on, man. A heel DIY as both as top singles
I mean,
champions.
I'm fine with it. I'm
with
just gonna say that I love listening to your argument of because we're all convinced that he's gonna win, that's why he's gonna lose. It's like your Brock Lesnar Finn Balor argument. Because we're all convinced Brock's gonna win, that's why he will lose.
I'm just saying, it's something to swerve. Something to a pay-per-view swerve. You don't get him on TV, but you get him on pay-per-view. Yes, and and to put a bow on NXT Takeover, you know who's gonna save us from the evil DIY? Matthew Riddle.
Probably, bro. He's gonna barefoot his way in and knee him in the face.
Bro.
So Royal Rumble. We would be remiss if we did not point out that this is Karl's favorite show of the year. It's also my favorite show of the year. I am a huge stand for the Royal Rumble match. My old favorite show of the year growing up as a 90s baby was the King of the Ring tournament. But as a 90s baby, the King of the Ring tournament used to be entertaining as fuck. Now it's just gone. So Royal Rumble can have that place. I love the match. I love the gimmick. I love the actual stakes behind it and the surprise entrances. And
it's one of the few shows where you're guaranteed not to be disappointed.
Yep, because it's as long as the Royal Rumble matches themselves don't suck, nobody gives a fuck about the rest of the card. Like, literally. It's the best time of year if you're on the rest of the card because there is no pressure for you because nobody's going to be talking about your match at the end of the night.
100%. So, let's start from the beginning.
All right. Yeah, I'm done.
Let's talk about the kickoff show. And the kickoff show has 2 fire matches. Let's talk about that United States title match. Who I don't know who has the championship.
Rusev has the championship.
Yeah.
He's
facing Shinsuke.
I still love Rusev. Don't get me wrong, but the travesty
I do too. I love both those guys.
The travesty of justice of what was done to Aiden English will haunt me for years, and I don't think I've gotten over it yet.
Bruh, Aiden's so happy he ain't got to take bumps for no reason no more.
Yeah.
Get paid to save to sit and talk.
Got promoted to 205 commentary. Like, that's...
Well, hold on. You say that, but Nigel started off just doing like a few shows, and now he's on 3. Aiden might be the next guy to take over whatever.
I would just much rather have Aiden as a manager or a tag team wrestler.
And for the record, when they announced that he was going to do it, they were very adamant to mention he was still an active competitor.
I don't know. I love Aiden. I do. But anyway, I'm going to pick Rusev in the match because I don't know what the fuck's going on with Shinsuke, and so Rusev.
Do you believe the rumors that Shinsuke is interested in going back to Japan? Yeah,
Shinsuke gets paid shit tons of money to wrestle a way easier style.
No, you don't need to delve in any further. That the answer, of course, was no. He's good here, and he wanted to live in America. He'd much rather live in Orlando or Tampa than Kyoto. No diss to Kyoto, which is probably a really nice town. But yes, Rusev wins, and is Lana pregnant?
Bro, I don't know.
They keep playing these games. Like, they said they got a new addition to the family, ended up being a puppy. Now Rusev bitching about gender reveals on Twitter. Like, they keep playing real, real heavy.
Maybe she is. I don't know.
Yeah, but Rusev beat Shinsuke. I love both those guys. Let's do something with them. Let's give them.
If we got time on the show for fucking Orton and his bullshit and a Vince McMahon segment.
Orton did.
Hold on. No, I'm not. I'll give that segment props for the surprise of it all in the end. He was on the screen for all of 5 seconds. Good reveal. Okay. That's great. I have no use for Randy Orton.
I do, but you can't complain about 5 seconds.
But, like, you got all this time to put Shane in a tag team with The Miz, and you got time to make... got time to let Vince have 5-minute segments and 10-minute segments on the shows every week. You got time to do something with Shinsuke.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You know, you're absolutely right. I know you hate Randy Orton. I get that, but Randy Orton was on TV for all of literally like a minute and 10 seconds.
It was the proper way to use Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's get to this other kickoff show before we knock out this card. The Cruiserweight Champions. Shout out to Buddy Murphy getting the Cruiserweight title on the main pay-per-views. Well, not the main cards, but it's the pay-per-view still. Because before Buddy Murphy had the championship, they weren't on pay-per-views at all.
What's he defending against?
It's a fatal 4-way between him, Akira Tozawa, the Lucha Booty, whose name will just be the Lucha Booty from now on, and Hideo Itami. Yeah, Kalisto.
I don't watch.
A really random match. It's a really random match. They had individual matches to get into this match, and I think like Tozawa beat Leo Rush, and one of them beat Cedric Alexander. Like, they beat heavy hitters to get into this match.
I don't generally watch 205, and if it's not Drew Gulak, I don't care. So I'm gonna pick Buddy Murphy to retain.
There's no way Murphy loses.
Not to any of those.
Bigger question. Well, Hideo is being rebuilt, so I wouldn't call him a scrub, but the rest of them, yeah. I will say this: the bigger question is, what does Murphy do going into Mania? Now that Ali is gone, because that's where you would have gone naturally. Murphy Ali finish the story at Mania. Ali gone. So that's something that I'm paying attention to, and I'm sure all 17 of the viewers of 205 Live are wondering. Main card. So let's talk about the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between The Bar versus the Best in the World and The Miz.
You know, the homies Ricky and Clive pointed something out about The Bar that is worth noting. Poor Bar always end up being the team that has to take these sad L's for other people's ridiculous shit. They had to lose to Braun with the little kid. Every year Cesaro gets fucked up on Halloween or Christmas, or anytime there's any kind of prop thing, it ends up on Cesaro. Like, the New Day stay making them look like fools. I almost feel bad. But, I mean, at the end of the day, The Miz and Shane McMahon are probably going to win this match because WWE seems hell-bent on trying to make me hate everything involving this angle, and that's the only thing that could make me hate it more. Oh, Shane, why?
I think you need to give a little more respect to the Best in the World.
Listen, the co-best... Whatever.
Oh, yeah, Miz and Shane winning. Like, you can smell this from a mile away.
Are they going to have matching tights? Or, I mean, is Shane's outfit going to match Miz's tights?
They're matching because
they've talked about it too much. I wondered if they're actually going to do it.
And I will say, if Shane wear the Jordans that Miz got him for his birthday, that's hella story. That's hella storyline continuing.
If Shane doesn't wear the Jordans that Miz got him, that's a hella great storyline reason for Miz to turn on Shane later.
And you know Miz don't need many reasons.
I mean, this is the WWE. If Chris Jericho and Kane can have a last man standing match that stemmed from spilt coffee, the Miz can damn sure turn on this man after I bought you a present and you didn't even fucking wear it.
Yeah, I can see it happening. Yeah, Miz and Shane definitely are gonna win. And you know what? You're right about the Bar, but I will say this: that lets me know that they're valued because they keep letting the Bar be in these positions. There's a certain tag team on Raw that's talking about leaving that can't get in.
No, there's a certain tag team on Raw that's talking about leaving that is also traditionally used to be the butt of the joke in these segments, but unlike the Bar, that tag team is not, in fact, 3-time main roster tag team champions. Are they 5-time now?
5-time.
Oh, okay.
The Bar, the New
and the
Day,
Usos
and
are
the
all
Usos,
5-time.
all are at 5.
But you know what? The Bar, the New Day, and the Usos are the best tag teams of the decade. So, I mean, the Usos and the New Day are two of the best tag teams of all fucking time. So, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
They could all have 5 tag
Hall
teams.
of Famers.
Yeah, they could all have 5 tag teams.
You're talking. Yeah. So yeah, and shout out to the Bar. Keep getting them checks.
Hell yeah, man. Especially Cesaro.
Keep getting them checks.
I don't know why I like Cesaro so much more than Sheamus, but I always have.
Well, Cesaro's more talented.
That could be why I've always liked him.
But Sheamus has a better grasp of character and is a better talker than Cesaro is.
I think my
Cesaro.
issue with Sheamus is
push too soon.
No, it's more like the Dolph Ziggler effect of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and so now I can't take him seriously anymore.
But he ain't been as low as Dolph has, and he's been way higher.
Oh, you're right. The difference between Dolph's world title reigns and Sheamus's world title reigns is very, very different. But it's still they're still similar in the terms of like they're pushed really high, and then their push just kind of disappears, and then it comes back again, and then it just kind of disappears.
But that's that mid 2000. That's that mid 2000. That like the 2010s group of guys.
Them and the Miz,
Ziggler and Miz and Del Rio and Barrett, and those guys all got those kind of pushes because they tried, didn't work. So let's bring it back down. We gotta try again because ain't nobody. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. Well, we gotta try again because ain't nobody else gonna replace them. Didn't work. Let's bring them back down. And that's part of the reason why it was when the Shield and the Wyatts debuted in 2014. It was so necessary.
Oh, Bray.
2013.
Oh, Bray.
So do you want to do the
Rumble? Oh yeah, we'll save the Rumbles for last. Let's just plow through these matches first, and then we'll do the Rumbles.
Okay, so then let's go. Well, then we're going straight to the main championships. Then let's do this first. Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks. Apparently doesn't matter because Sasha's leaving after WrestleMania.
Well, I'm gonna take Ronda because she might be leaving after WrestleMania, but her ass gonna be on the marquee in New York. So she gonna get this work.
Does Sasha have a chance?
Hell no.
Okay.
She got a chance of botching a move or two, but she ain't got no chance of winning this match.
Dog, that's hilarious you said that. I asked Ricky the other day because Ricky said Ricky and Karl both said they're gonna.
They took the over. Yeah, they took the over, not the under.
Right. My question was, does a wardrobe malfunction count as a botch?
I'm going to say no, because a wardrobe malfunction could be inadvertently your opponent's fault.
Monday it was on Natty for sure.
A wardrobe malfunction could be your opponent's fault. But, no. She ain't got no chance in this match. Shit.
If so, for those of you listening, if you were concerned about Foxy when Foxy wrestled Ronda, Ronda's gonna throw Sasha around like a rag doll, and Sasha has the propensity to scare the living hell out of you with the bump she takes. So this is gonna be interesting to watch. I'll say this though, it's good to see Sasha back in a position of prominence, which she deserves to be in.
But for the love of God, change your hair color, boo. Bubblegum pink is ugly as fuck.
It's either pink or purple. It's one of the two.
I don't care if she wants to make it a bright color, but pink and purple are too much.
But she's the boss.
I guess. Give me the glow over the boss any day.
That's one thing we agree on, sir. Yes, I got Ronda too, because there's no way Ronda's not going to lose her first match. And I know people are gonna say she technically lost, but lose her first singles match before Mania. They're not that dumb. They did that with Sasha, did that with Charlotte a couple years ago, and they realized how stupid it was.
So she gonna win. Now the SmackDown match, that's a little more interesting.
Well, go ahead. You're the biggest Becky stan I know.
No, I'm not the biggest Becky stan you know. I'm just the only Becky stan in our group that hasn't completely turned against Becky yet.
Well, to be fair, me and Clive never were on the Becky train.
Yeah, and now Karl got off the train. Oh, Karl was never fully on board of any train because Karl don't watch shit. But
There
you know,
go. There you go. Yes, but you are correct.
Anyway, no, I think Asuka's gonna win the match ultimately because I know you've got that opinion on like a potential triple threat unification scenario that's like.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's a cool idea.
I heard the idea, and it's interesting.
A cool idea. I mean, I'd stand for it. I'm not saying I wouldn't stand for it.
For the record, for those of you listening, the scenario I heard, and I heard it from Busted Open, so shout out to David Greca and Blu-ray. But the idea is that possibly Ronda retains, Becky beats Asuka, Charlotte wins the Rumble. Charlotte said, I don't want one, I want them both. I'm the queen, I've done everything, I want them both. Triple threat, unify the title, you get everything you want, main event, boom. It would be interesting as hell. I'm not saying
it would be interesting.
Go ahead.
But no, I do think ultimately in the end Asuka wins the match, but I'm more interested in the how does Asuka win the match, and then how do we follow that up? Because I have my ideas for how I'd follow it up, but I want to talk more about that part in the actual Women's Rumble discussion. As far as how she loses the match, I could see this match happening before the Raw match, and I could see Ronda costing Becky the match.
Well, she cost her a match already before, so
yeah, and that's the route that they go down to kind of still keep Becky somewhat protected, but Asuka's gonna win a match because I think Asuka does something else at Mania. What that is, I'm not sure yet. I know that I'd like, going off of our previous discussion, I'd like for Asuka to face Shayna, but that's just my little pipe dream.
That's a main event worthy match. I still think Asuka.
Oh, I think Asuka versus Naomi with an actual build behind it would be great, but I think one of them has to semi-turn.
And I think Asuka would turn. I think you're seeing remnants of that in your past two SmackDowns. Asuka acted a lot more heelish than she's acted in a long time. And I know it might not be heelish because Becky's technically heel playing a face, but it's drastically different than the Asuka we're used to on the main roster.
I would just love Naomi to start it with homegirl, you've been watching me get my shit rocked by Mandy and Sonya and all their bullshit, and you ain't come to help me out. What the fuck is this?
She tried to take my man, everything, and you just
after I came to your defense when they was coming for you. What is this?
I'm with it, and one would have you believe that that's partially the reason why Naomi's been put in this prominent position outside of the title.
I don't want to, but I don't want us to think that. I want us to think that Naomi is being pushed because Naomi is another person who has figured her character development out to the point where everything she does is so natural. Especially this Mandy angle, but then again, that's because she just gets to be her fierce, angry self. And, I love watching her embrace, oh, you gonna come for my man? I'm gonna show you how wretched I can be.
But think about how big that angle is, though. That angle's so big, they cooled the Usos down for this angle.
I mean,
I love that they're
highlighting relationship goals, because that's what you and me have been calling Naomi and Jimmy forever.
What, a year?
Yeah, I was like, y'all, they are relationship goals.
Yes. For the record, I have Asuka winning too. I guess my last question about this match is this: do you see any scenario where Becky is not in the match with Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania.
Do I see? Oh, I mean, yeah, I see a scenario. I mean, shit. Last year we thought there was no fucking way they would do Roman versus Brock again, and there was no fucking way that Brock would beat Roman again, and they did it. So, like, I could totally see a scenario where fucking Becky beats Asuka, and either Nia Jax wins the Rumble and challenges Becky, or Charlotte wins the Rumble and challenges Ronda, or whatever else. Yeah, I could see it. I think it'd be stupid as fuck, but I could see it.
Same here, and everybody's saying that they're the only reason. Look, I know I said this last, but the only reason somebody would think that Becky and Nia is still a possible thing would be because you listen to Dave, because there has been nothing to show that they have anything left to do with each other. I said the same thing about Roman and Brock last year, so I understand that I could be dead wrong. But there has been nothing
to indicate that that's the thing.
A possibility. Okay, let's stay on SmackDown. Let's talk about the real AJ Styles versus the
Captain Planet
champion, Captain Planet, the new Daniel Bryan.
And for the record, y'all, we here at the Outsider's Edge are Planeteers, and you can be one too, because the audience is fickle as fuck, and he out here spitting hot fire truth.
Well, I was gonna sing the whole Planeteer song for sure. Yes, but we are Planeteers. Yes.
I love that you were gonna sing the song because I was singing it in my head.
I know. Well, you said we're Planeteers, were too. I was. Because saving our planet is the thing to do.
But yeah, Daniel is out here spitting hot truths, and Captain Planet is going to save our planet by beating MAGA Styles.
Problem with that is, what does he do next?
I don't give a fuck, as long as he keeps spitting hot fire. No, in all seriousness though, as far as what he does next.
What do either of them do next?
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be Daniel, because we can't put the belt back on AJ right now. AJ just lost the belt, and he held the belt for fucking ever at the expense of other people on the card, as we've talked about extensively. So I feel like Daniel got to win.
I agree.
I mean,
and there's this Vince thing looming too.
Yes.
With AJ.
Honestly, I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but what I'd like to see, I know people talking about, oh, Seth versus Brock is the way to go. Man, fuck that. I'd like Seth to win the Rumble and face Daniel. Move Seth over to SmackDown, number one, because get Seth the fuck off Raw.
Well, that's happening in the Takeover.
But yeah, well, I mean, I don't care when it happens. I just need him. I need it to happen, and I need him and Dean not to be on the same show.
Well, just because you said that, Dean's
yeah, I know.
Because Seth and Dean got to fight forever, like Kevin and Sammy. Yep.
But no, that's what I'd like to see be next for him. As far as what could actually be next for him, like our homies over at the Ricky and Clive show threw out Mysterio's name as a possibility. It is. I'm not interested in it, but it is a possibility. They could put him up there against Johnny Boots and Tights. I don't want to see that either, but it's a possibility.
Okay, so hold on. Time out real quick. John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. In this iteration, with Bryan being the dastardly heel against the old veteran John Cena who got broken up by Bryan's sister-in-law, and is trying to keep his relevance and get one last
terrible hair
fight at fame. Well, that too. And looking for one last chance at fame and breaking the record. That's a big match.
It is a big match. You're right. No, it's a big match. It's a big match that I personally don't want to see. If they go in that direction, I'm not going to sit here and say that's a stupid business move or anything like that, because like you said, that's a big match, and there are plenty of different stories that they could tell if that's the route they chose to go in. I just don't personally want to see it, because personally I would rather they push somebody like Mustafa or Andrade or Seth from over on Raw or just somebody different.
Here's why Here's why I don't want it to be Mustafa. And please don't take that as I don't like the kid. I think Mustafa Ali is one of the most engaging acts on the entire company.
I've heard your criticisms
amazing.
for like Becky, and so like I know your philosophy on earn it.
Yes, I don't push him too hard, too fast. If you're a baby face, like if you get pushed fast as a heel, cool, because that's the point. But if you get pushed that fast to the moon as a baby, and not just as a baby, but as an underdog,
Well, and
baby,
an undersized one at that. Like he's small for a cruiser.
And let's please acknowledge that he wasn't good enough. I'm not gonna say good enough. He wasn't able to win the cruiserweight championship.
And can I? Speaking of him being a cruiserweight, can I just say that all y'all motherfuckers that said Finn Balor was too small or is too small, but you're standing for Mustafa, and I say this as a fan of both. Finn is bigger than Mustafa, you dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So if Finn is too small, but you're sitting here talking about Mustafa need to get pushed to the moon, accept the fact that you are a dipshit hypocrite and do better.
You're right, but Mustafa not facing the human juggernaut.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about, like, who's likely to win the match against their opponent. I'm just talking, like, people are always saying Finn's too small, but the same people that are saying Finn's too small are also out here in the streets talking about how much they love Mustafa and how they need to push Mustafa. I agree that Mustafa's awesome. I agree that we should push Mustafa. I agree that more Mustafa Ali on my television would be a good thing. But if you think that Finn Balor is too small, then what the fuck is Mustafa Ali?
You were 100% right. 100. Look, you're 100% right, and we're gonna get to Finn in a second. We're definitely gonna get to Finn in a second. I think Bryan wins. I do, but the concern is what happens next. And Vince doesn't throw himself into segments or into angles.
Yo, this could end with Miz versus AJ, with Vince in AJ's corner and Shane in Miz's corner, because that's some shit that they would do, and it's a big match because it's a McMahon's match.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Miz versus AJ is big on his own.
Yo, Miz finally?
But you add to me, pal.
Yo, can Miz finally win the WWE title again this year? Can this be the year that he gets that belt back, please? Please.
The year of 2019.
Please. Like, I don't even care if he holds it forever. Like, at this point, I'd settle for him getting a transitional reign. But, like, can this be the year that we officially recognize that this motherfucker is a WWE title contender?
So I'll say this. Normally, feuding with Shane is a precursor to success.
I hope so.
Just leave it. I'm just leave it at that. So yes. I think we both picked Daniel, but this hopefully this illuminates something of what could possibly be next.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of a setup to what's coming, either after the match or during the match or something. Like we need some hints.
I think Vince will be involved some kind of way.
Possibly.
Yeah. So let's get to probably the most talked about match on the card that's not a Rumble, and this is Finn Balor versus the Beast Brock Lesnar. Talked about for so many reasons. First and foremost,
Brock doesn't work with anybody he doesn't want to work with, so Brock handpicked Finn when Braun got hurt.
Number one is Brock likes or respects, whatever you want to say.
Brock respects Finn Balor. What Brock likes is wrestling smaller wrestlers because he recognizes that he has better matches against them.
Well, Brock and Taker are built a lot alike, not just but mentally. Taker's best matches were always with cruisers or smaller guys because Taker moves like a smaller guy to be 6'10", 320. Brock does too. So it's a better match for him.
I think that Brock will make Finn look good. I mean, Finn's talented, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. Finn's talented as fuck. Like, Finn is fucking good. I'm saying Brock will sell for Finn. in a way that makes Finn look better, I think in the end, Brock will still win because Brock Lesnar is house money, and you never bet against the house.
Well, yes. So when in doubt, pick Brock or Charlotte. That's basically WWE rule, WWE law. It used to be pick Cena, but Cena's lost a lot recently. I'll say this: 2 things tell me. Oh God, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. 2 things tell. God, I can't. Hold on. Okay. I'm really gonna say this. Wow. Oh my God. 2 things tell me Finn's gonna beat Brock. I can't believe I said that statement. First thing is they wouldn't have done all they did for Finn and build him up to the level they did in the past 2 weeks just to get beat. That's not something they do. No, it's something I wouldn't put it past them. They did something they often do. Number 2, Braun is cleared. They keep reintroducing Braun and not taking away from this for a reason. I've said this to you privately, but let me say this on air. This reminds me a lot of 2004 with Eddie and Brock and Goldberg. With Brock and Goldberg having beef, Eddie being the underutilized but over-deserving underdog challenger to the Beast. Brock not giving him any respect in the build-up or in the match, and Goldberg getting a ticket from Stone Cold, coming in while the ref had a ref bump, spearing Brock. Eddie hits the frog splash. Eddie beats the Beast, and Brock gets ready to go off in the sunset and have his one final match against Goldberg. Brock is going to start fighting again after Mania.
Facts.
Brock, because he's going to fight again, was probably going to be gone for a while. Braun has to beat Brock eventually. Has to. So I see a scenario like that with Braun coming in with the ref bump or something. Braun coming in, beating up Brock, hitting him with the running power slam. Finn hitting the coup de grace, winning the championship. Finn moving on to whatever does at Mania. And those 2 having their final showdown at Mania, whatever it is. And if you remember on Raw, Braun told Finn, "You better beat Brock."
I mean, that's a distinct possibility. And we all know that the only way Braun's ever going to actually beat Brock is if the title's not on the line, so.
Yes, and Brock keeps his heat. Not Brock, but Braun gets his heat back. Finn gets the biggest ovation of the night. Brock continues to be hated from a character standpoint. Like I think it's a positive all around.
As long as it doesn't lead to Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor for the Universal title.
That's the main event of Elimination Chamber.
This is the feud that never ends.
Can you see that?
Oh yeah, I can see that happening. That's a very plausible scenario.
Would you be okay with Finn beating Brock in any other scenario?
I would.
Like, would you be cool if Finn beat Brock clean? No interference.
I would, but like, I'm not one of those fans who gets caught up on the realism of the size differential. I'm just like, man, I watched Rey Mysterio beat the Big Show clean. So I can watch Finn beat Brock.
It's not so much just size. It's the size mixed with the style, mixed with the booking. Brock is booked as an unbeatable tank. Big Show was booked as, for most of his career, as much, with all respect intended, as a big geek, as a loaf. Yeah, like a lummus. So yes, you 100%. Now, when Brock fought AJ is a world class grappler and a world class striker. When Brock fought Brian is a world class submission grappler and a world class. Finn doesn't have those qualities.
But he is the real rock and roller.
Yes. So
you know what?
that's the
you know
only
you
fear.
know what would be my scenario in a perfect world of how I would have Finn Balor beat Brock Lesnar?
Fale come out of nowhere.
Well, he wouldn't come out of nowhere. Finn would come to the ring on Fale's shoulders. And Brock Lesnar, not being no fool, would see Fale's Tongan ass and just be like, nah, fuck this. Fuck this. I didn't sign up to fight no fucking Tongans.
Where's Machine Gun and Tama? Bad Boy. I know they here somewhere.
Yeah, like, no, fuck this. I didn't sign up to face no fucking Tongans. This is some bullshit. You got Haku hiding under the ring and shit.
Got me in here facing motherfucking Polynesians and shit. I already had to beat Roman 17 times. I don't want to fight no else.
Finn comes out on Fale's shoulders, and Brock just hands Finn the title. Like, nah, this is bullshit. This is bullshit.
We good. See y'all at UFC. Yeah. What's up, Dana? He does the UFC in the air like Brett did. WCW.
Just looks into the camera and tells Cormier to bring it, bitch. Yo, DC, I'm coming for your punk ass.
Speaking of DC, what if DC does the Bronx?
Oh, yeah, that's even better. Because you know Dana's all about cashing in on that cash cow. As much as he tries to act like he's too good for wrestling, using all these wrestling tropes and his shit.
The Habib Conor story proved he don't care. He's all about a buck. And then moving a whole fight so John Jones could fight to a whole nother city a week before. Yeah, he buck. Okay, Rumble time.
Let's do men's first because we did the women's titles first. So we'll finish with the women's Rumble.
Bet. Okay. Do you want me to list who are announced?
Part of me is gonna say no. Don't list the people who are announced because it'll take too long. Instead, let's offer some suggestions. We can offer suggestions for a couple of surprise entrants, and if they've already been announced, you can just let me know.
Okay.
So,
hey, you jump in.
All right. So the only things we know for sure are, as far as like order of entry and shit, is Truth is number 30 because that was a prize for winning the mixed match challenge. So Truth comes in at 30. And
Carmella for the women's.
I mean, the difference between them is I pick Truth as my shortest duration in the match because he's going to come in at number 30, close to the end, and he's going to pull some Truth-like shenanigans and end up right in the ring and right the fuck up out the ring.
And that's if he comes out for the men's Rumble because he might come out for the women's.
I could also see a world where him and Mella both try to come out at the same time, and Mella's like, what the fuck are you doing? So let's see. As far as surprise entrants for the men, I'm gonna pick Velveteen Dream coming out from NXT. I'll say Cole will also come from NXT. And no, Kenny's still under contract. I was gonna say because I still think Kenny Omega goes to WWE, but I mean, AEW could throw money at him, but I think he's under contract till the end of the month. So.
Supposedly to the 31st.
So unless
him and Kushida in at the same day.
Yeah, so unless that's shenanigans, he won't be an entrant in this one. I can't think of any big free agents that they could have as like debut entrants. I could see like Matt Riddle surprising people and getting a run-in spot. Are there any legends who can walk?
Well, Kurt Angle will probably be in the Rumble.
Bro, we don't want Kurt Angle having to take a rope spot. I don't want Kurt Angle falling wrong.
Kurt Angle had the Shield match when he had to go through tables and ladders. He can do one. We can do one.
Just because he can doesn't mean I want him to.
Look, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Big Show's probably going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think he's legend status.
Big Show is definitely legend status. What scares me with Big Show and the thought of him taking the rope spot is those knees are in rough shape.
Sure, but I mean,
yeah.
They could do the 5 people throw me over spot. Legends. Who? What is there? Are there any?
Mark Henry. He's a legend. He could mess up.
Yeah, but I don't know if Mark's interested. I'm thinking, and there's like the Brothers are clearly going to be in one of the Brothers is because they're in Phoenix, Scottsdale, too close.
I mean, at this point, honestly, you never. The only legends that you can never rule out are Triple H's friends.
Will Taker be in the Rumble?
No, please God, no.
Will Shawn be in the Rumble?
Not Shawn. I could see, or not Shawn Michaels. I could see Sean Waltman doing a run-in. I could see Pac doing a run-in.
Waltman seemed like he's. I don't know if he's on as good term with the WWE as we think he is. What about Scott Hall?
Is Scott in good enough shape? Because if like physically, is Scott good?
Man, they had Jimmy Snuka running around.
Well, no. I just mean like
he's sober.
Oh, I know he's sober, but I just meant like with as fucked up as his body was from all of his years.
Yeah. He can take a bump.
Okay, if Scott could take a bump, then I could see Scott doing it. Just because I'm sure Scott, Scott could use the paycheck.
Sure, yeah, he can take like one bump. I think, but I say him because Nash has been back in recent years. Triple H has been in it. Only two that haven't been involved recently are Waltman and Scott.
Surprise returns, maybe? Is anybody out hurt that's cleared to come back?
Bray Wyatt.
I could see Bray making his return.
I got one that nobody's thinking of. Jason Jordan.
Is he cleared to come back?
I don't know. Nobody said anything about him for months.
Like, I'm curious because, like, if he's cleared to come back, I'm for it. Like, I feel so bad for the way that it ended for him.
I do too, man. Oh, Woken Matt Hardy is cleared.
Yeah, Matt, like, please, Matt, you got kids, man. Like, that spine is fucked.
He said that his rehab and he's been working on it, and he's in the best shape he's been in 20 years.
I hope so. It's hard to not be a selfish fan and be like, oh, I would love to see so and so, but at the same time, I'm just like, man, you got like a family.
Here's one that is really interesting because I don't know if you read the news today that came out. Abyss.
Is he coming with the mask?
He would have to. Nobody knows Chris Parks.
I mean Joseph Parks.
Whatever his fake real name is, yes.
Yo, man. You know what? Fuck it. I would mark if Abyss came. I would mark.
I would too.
I don't need Abyss to be like a main
not the Abyss of old,
roster member or anything. Like, he could be in the mid card every now and then, but like,
he was hired to be a producer. But it'd be cool to give him
just the one time, like.
So let me say this about Abyss real quick. Two things. Number one, if Abyss leaves an Impact, that lets you know that they are fucked. That's the one guy that never left. Which leads me to number two. Abyss had a signed contract ready, and in the contract, he was going to be given a WrestleMania match with The Undertaker. And he said, nah, I'm cool. I'm going to stay with TNA.
This must have been at the height of his career.
This was, 23? Was it? The 23 match he had with 22? He had with Mark Henry? I think was when they offered it to him.
Wow. That's a shame because that was when Abyss could still really go. That was when him and Jeff Hardy were feuding and having their first Monsters Ball. You know, I used to mark for that old theme. It was really simple, but that just dun 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 dun. And he'd come out with the chain around his neck.
Yeah, and the little cross he'd do with the fire. Abyss back in the day was fire, bro.
Yeah, Abyss was great.
Even though every time he brought the tags out, you knew what was happening. He was going through them tags.
Yep, but it worked. It worked
every time. Yeah. So it'd be good to look. Talk about a guy who's given everything he has to the
I would
business.
love to see him get, even if that is his only, like, appearance type, I would love to see, for, like, 5 minutes, just Abyss in the Rumble match. I would mark for that moment.
Somebody gonna get black hole slammed.
Yep.
Somebody gonna get the shock treatment. Yeah, I'm and you know what? Bring James Mitchell with
Yeah.
finish the match. Why not?
No,
Why
hold
not?
up. No, I take that back. If we're gonna bring an ancillary Abyss character with him, Abyss needs to bring my favorite women's wrestler with him.
Oh, Rosemary?
Yes. I know it's not happening. I know it's not.
Callis is not letting her leave. Oh God, no. They treat Rosemary over there like they treat Ronda over here.
It's important for them to keep Rosemary because they're a Canadian company and she a Canadian wrestler. That's why her and Allie are the cornerstones of that division because they are Canadian.
Oh, because they're Canadians. That's funny. We've talked about all these surprises. We haven't thrown out any favorites.
Oh, I mean, the favorites to win the match are as follows: Seth, Drew, and because I was trying to think of literally anyone on SmackDown that I could think of. Joe maybe. Yeah, that's about it.
And Ali has a shot. It would. There's no way in Ali to win. But
yeah, that's about it. Really, it's gonna probably come down to Drew and Seth, and
don't discount Dean.
Well, I mean, I won't discount Dean being involved in the final result, but I'm just talking about like winning. It's probably a toss up between Drew and Seth. I'm gonna go with Seth. I don't know if it'll be because they're going to put him against Brock, or let me say this. I'm going to go with Seth no matter what. If Brock wins, I think they'll go Seth versus Brock. If Brock loses to Finn, I say Seth gets moved over to SmackDown and Seth faces Daniel.
I'm going with Seth as well because sometimes chalk is the way to go. Sometimes the most expected and is the right move. But I'm gonna say Seth. If Brock wins, it's still Seth Brock. But if Finn wins, it's still gonna be Seth Finn to finish the story from when the first Universal title.
Oh, the one-on-one rematch between them. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that would be cool. But either way, I think we're both in agreement. Probably Seth wins this Rumble.
Yes, and I think Seth comes in at number 1 or 2.
See, I think Drew comes in at number 1 or 2, and Drew stays in until the end because they're really trying to push how dominant Drew is.
Maybe so, but with big guys, they know to
I
bring
know that we say that with Drew as like a big guy, but it's hard for me to think of Drew as a big guy wrestler. He's just bigger than the current crop of main eventers.
He's just ready or
like that.
He's not big.
And so like I don't think of Drew as a big man wrestler. I think of him as a tall guy who wrestles. He's not Matt Morgan. When I think big man, I think like, oh, you Matt Morgan? Matt Morgan, you better come out at 15 and then eliminate 10 people. Like Braun's going to come in at like number 10 and then they're going to have 15 people eliminate his ass.
If
Braun's in a Rumble. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so while we're in agreement with that, I'm pretty sure we're in agreement with this next one, the women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So for surprise/legend entrance for the women,
yes. Or
I'm going to put Shayna from NXT, and I think Kairi Sane will also compete this year from NXT.
She was in it last year.
I think so.
So they wouldn't put her in it again. I don't think they'd do something different.
Well,
so Bianca,
maybe.
Put both of them in there. Shayna,
okay. I do fully expect both Lacey and Nikki to be in the match because they're being called up to the blah, 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 blah.
Lacey already
is officially announced.
Nikki was both of them were.
Okay, yeah, so I expected that. No, but as far as like legends, who I'd like to see, but I don't think is on good enough terms with the company? Melina.
Who? I think you'd be surprised. I think she's in better terms than we think.
To hear that familiar theme, and I would love to see Melina come out.
I'll tell you one who's probably going to be in it.
Oh, well,
Victoria.
she was going to be one of my other ones, was Victoria.
She's retiring, I think, at the end of this year, so give her one last.
And then I'm just trying to think of, are there any other legends from that era that didn't go in the last year's Rumble?
I'll give you one who just kind of reemerged. Jazz.
Yo, I heard her on a podcast recently, and I thought that.
I've been asked to try to book her for Chairshot Radio. So, like, I just haven't done my
I would
job.
no,
like
I would love to see Jazz. Again, that's someone I would mark for. I'd love to see Jazz or like Dawn Marie or any of those like old ECW holdovers that still are in good enough shape. Like we were saying with the men, if you're in good enough shape to come out and take the bump, bring your ass on out.
The key though for this one is this one can't be as nostalgic as
no.
the last
This one has to be mostly actual current wrestlers, but you can still throw in the great thing because the Women's Rumble is still a new concept. You can still throw in 3 or 4 legends of the past.
Sure, a couple of them, yeah. Which is why like I think Nikki will for sure be in it. Probably Brie too.
But here's the thing about Nikki and Brie: they still count as like the legends, but at the same time, Nikki at least is technically a current competitor, even if she's a part-timer.
Mm-hmm.
So like, Nikki comes in a match, and you do legitimately think she's got a chance to win.
Here's the biggest question of the night, even bigger than who's gonna win, because I think we both agree Charlotte's gonna win.
Well, I mean, I already told what I'd like to see happen. I would like to see Becky pull a test from Survivor Series 2001, and she loses her match with Asuka, and so she finds a geek like Dakota Kai, who is gonna be like a surprise entrant, and it's like, oh, Dakota, what number did you draw? Really? And then just beats the dog shit out the bitch, and takes her spot.
But that was the question I was going to ask you, because so many people seem hell bent on believing Becky's going to win the Rumble when she's probably not going to be in it.
That's how I would get her.
Do you think she's going to be
in?
That's
how I would get her put in it. I don't know.
But
I don't know. I don't know. It wouldn't be unprecedented. It would be irregular for recent years, but it wouldn't be unprecedented. What people don't remember is like, back in the Attitude Era, it was incredibly common for you to be in the WWF Championship match and you lost the match, but then turned up in the Rumble later that night. That shit happened.
Right. But the roster wasn't as bloated as it is now.
You're right. No, you're right. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if we're talking like, oh, well, she was in the title match, so she's obviously not in the Rumble. No, bro, that's not obvious. Like, you can pull double duty. It's happened before.
Right, I just don't think it's like you said, it's not something that they've done. So they did it with Roman a couple years ago, and then before that, they did it in the 40-man Rumble.
All the more reason
because they needed more people.
All the more reason why I think it's likely it could happen is because they've recently made a thing of doing shit that they haven't done in a long time.
So basically, here's why I'm against it. Is because and shout out to Rob for kind of bringing us making me think about this. I don't want the crowd to lose their shit and start bitching like they did with Brian when he wasn't in the Rumble and he wasn't advertised or promoted to be in the Rumble, but they bitched about it anyway.
But you already know they're going to be on that fuck shit, man. If she doesn't appear on this Rumble, that's just going to cement their hatred of Charlotte in the same way that they hate Roman.
Now the difference between the two is Charlotte's trying to get booed right now, so that would help her character. Roman they were trying to present him as the hero, right? But I'm not talking about that Rumble. That Rumble, Brian was in the Rumble, and they just fucked that up. The year before, when Batista won, Brian was never supposed to be in the Rumble. He was never advertised or anything, and poor Rey Mysterio had to take the bullet for everybody. Becky is not promoted for this Rumble. So if she's not in this Rumble, please don't boo or lose your minds. Becky's in a title match. And I'm just so terrified that they're going to just hijack the rest of the show, because they didn't get what they wanted. When they got what they wanted, Becky's in the damn title
I mean,
match.
you never know, man. This could be the main event again. I doubt it, but it could be. You never know.
God, I hope it is. Well, no, if Brock's losing, Finn's got to be the main event, right?
Nah, the Royal Rumble match is always the main event. No matter how big the singles matches are, the Royal Rumble matches are always the main event. Always.
Well, if that's the case, then I say you got to end with Seth. Personally,
I mean, I'm not disputing that, but I'm saying either the men's match or the women's match will be the main event, because that is one thing about the Royal Rumble as a show. The Royal Rumble match is always the main event of that show.
you're right.
So it's going on last. One of those Rumbles is going on last. As far as my pick to win the women's Rumble, I mean, yeah, Charlotte's a pretty safe pick. If Becky's not in the match, Charlotte's the only other person that I buy winning the title, because she's the only other woman that's been built up as like a challenger. I might have said Alexa Bliss until Monday when Lacey Evans came out, and now I'm like, oh, Alexa and Lacey Evans is going to be a thing.
Would you be shocked if they flipped the script on us and let Naomi beat Charlotte?
Would I be shocked? Yes. Would I stand so fucking hard for it? Absolutely. We will start the Outsider's Edge next week with her theme song if she wins that match. We will devote an entire couple minutes to just I'm amazing. I'm amazing. We will stand so hard. We'll call next week's episode the Naomi Show.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
She wins this match, because I would be about it.
Well, Naomi's good. Naomi's good at Battle Royal. She did win the over trophy.
Yes, she did win the giant ovaries.
Anything else you got tonight, my brother? Anything else you want to talk about that we missed?
Nope, just our traditional reminder to everyone in the audience: if you're gonna watch the shows this week, buy them legally. Sign up for a trial to the fucking network for free. Shit. But don't pirate that shit.
By the way, if you sign up now, I hate to sound like Michael Cole, but you get this, and you'll get the Elimination Chamber. But the Worlds Collide tournament it's being recorded Saturday, but it's going to be streamed.
Oh, good. They are going to stream that. I was worried they were streaming.
They're going to on February the 2nd. 15 guys, 5 from NXT, 5 from NXT UK, 5 from 205 Live. It's going to be a tournament style. One person's going to get a bye. The other guys are going to work tournament. The winner of it, at the end of it, is going to get a title shot of whatever of the 3 brands they want. That's and like it's some like real heavy hit, like Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Tyler Bate, Zach Gibson. Like it's some real Mark Andrews. I think Hideo's in it. Like
Drew
it's
in
some real. Drew Gulak is in it. Like it's some real heavy hitters. Super interesting. So like pay attention to that. They're really trying new different things to keep you engaged.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. That'll be good. But yeah, no, y'all, like if you're gonna watch the shows, watch them legally. I don't care if WWE's a $1 billion company, or if you're watching New Japan, if you're watching MLW. I don't care who you're watching. Pay to watch them.
Support.
Yeah, if you like it so much, support it. But no, that's all I got for them. Other than just their usual reminder that we here at the Outsider's Edge are just some young men chasing our dreams.
Well, hold on. We didn't tell them where they can find you first. Damn.
Well, I mean, I was just.
You ready to go?
All right. Well, I mean, they know where they can find me. You can find me on Twitter at Dr. S'mores. You can find our missing brother in arms, Karl, at Outsider Curvin. He's got the best Twitter of all of us.
Send him some well wishes, y'all, because he's really sick. Like, he's really sick.
Yeah, like, you know, the Double Dragon's never a good day.
Not at all. And it's not just him. Like, the kid got it.
Yeah, so, like, it's some nasty shit going on.
Yeah, the show, of course, at Outsiders Edge SS. We're at I'm at It's Ray Cash, RAY as Mysterio, CASH as in dollars. Social Suplex, Chairshot Radio, where you always
Use your head.
check us out. Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google, everywhere. Yeah.
But yes,
Check us out. Follow the click, everybody.
Sorry that the end of the show is somewhat expedited, but it's getting late, and we're both tired, poor working folk out here doing the best we can to chase these dreams. And if we said anything that you disagreed with or that made you feel some type of way, just remember that we are, in fact, chasing our dreams, and you've got to respect that. But if you don't, we just don't give a fuck.
Fuck 'em.
Thanks for listening. Enjoy the shows.